The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Good morning and welcome to Guardian Radio AM. Today is finally Friday, May 30th. It's a little after 11 o'clock in the morning. Once again, this is C.A. Newry, and I shall be your host for today. Today we have St. Thomas More representative.
Yes.
They are celebrating 75 years of being in the Bahamas.
In the valley.
We also have Father Calix. I pronounced that correctly, right?
Yes, you do.
I'm so say I'm bilingual. And I also have Miss Roll.
Claudette Roll.
Miss Claudette Roll, who are here to tell us how St. Thomas More is celebrating. Give us a history of St. Thomas More being in the valley, right? You're supposed to have a new church. You're went across the street.
Yes, we do it.
Yeah, I want to hear a little bit about that also. But give us a rundown, a history of St. Thomas More being in the valley, being on Madeira Street proper, the school and what has the church infused with the school and their assistance, and then the great move across the street to have that, I would call it a big cathedral right across the street. But explain all of that in the history and go ahead and then tell us more about the celebration.
Okay, we are proud that we are in the valley and have been in the valley since 1950. That is when St. Thomas More started, the church started, and we have, of course, evolved. The first church, believe it or not, was a gift from Garfunkel. And if you remember Garfunkel, it was the Garfunkel Auditorium. No, not that kind of Garfunkel, man.
I grew up in a different era. Sorry, Garfunkel was a musician. But go ahead, finish.
But if you remember the Palmdale Plaza and Home Furniture,
Yes.
you know, yeah, okay. That whole plaza was Garfunkel's Plaza.
Okay.
And so St. Thomas More Church started in 1950, a very small church, and then we expanded in 1952 to the chapel and school that's right to the west of the first church. And the church and the school, we were there from 1952, and then we moved across the street to the renovated St. Thomas More Church Complex, which used to be the Garfunkel Auditorium, and it used to be a gymnasium as well for basketball and other sports, and of course the great theater for Aquinas College. And so we since Aquinas College's relocation to Gladstone Road, that complex was renovated, and it's now the new St. Thomas More Church.
It's a beautiful church.
Thank you so much.
It's a
We're
beautiful
very
church.
proud of it.
Yes. But you're celebrating 75 years, and it's 75 years of contributing to that particular area, the valley, as you say, and then, of course, the mainstream Madeira Street, right? How has that been? Why has the church, flourish in that area?
I think, and I'm going to let Father Calix expound on this a little bit more, but the church has flourished in that area because we still have a lot of the families from the valley who are a part of the original St. Thomas More family. And so the history, even we've gone back 75 years, and we have generations of persons who once lived in the valley and they have moved out. They are still a part of the St. Thomas More parish family. And we also are relevant to that area because the area has become so commercialism, such a commercial area. It is good for us to still be doing our years of faithfulness, our dedication, the education, all the other ministries that we have. It's still good for us to be relevant to the people of that area, but even the people who are outside of that area.
Okay. And Father Calix, are you director of St. Thomas More?
Yes, I'm the pastor.
Oh, okay. I didn't know Catholics had pastors. So
Well, it's a parish priest. We call it parish priest. Parish
and
priest.
just that for the past several months we've been having a series on different religions and the names and everything. And this is the first time I heard the word pastor, and that's why that warmed me. But go ahead.
Yes, the pastor means the parish priest, so
I understand.
the leader of the parish, right? And so I've I've been made a pastor of St. Thomas More on April 20th, 2022, by our Archbishop, our shepherd, Bishop Patrick Sipender. And also under him, we have the new Church of St. Thomas More, the new church complex. And now St. Thomas More Church has a lovely story. It started, as Mrs. Roll mentioned it, with the Benedictine monks who serve the parish. Nice. Father George Rolfe was one of the Benedictine priests who served St. Thomas More when the first church facing the small chapel facing Montgomery Street, which now is the old parish hall of St. Thomas More. It used to be also the primary school, the kindergarten, which housed the kindergarten at the time at some point. But now when Father George, a Benedictine monk, so he was assigned as a pastor of Sacred Heart. And while he was assigned there, he was serving also St. Thomas More in that small chapel, as Mrs. Rowe mentioned it, in that small chapel, which is now the old parish hall of St. Thomas More. Now we have some Benedictine we have some other Benedictine priests who had served St. Thomas More Church. For instance, we have Father Prosper Meyer, Father Gall, Father Blaze, all these have served as Elias also.
Father Elias?
Uh-huh.
I've met Father George and Father Elias, actually.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
I attended St. Augustine's, and there were monks who actually taught me at school.
Actually, you are right, because actually there were, while serving St. Thomas More, they were at St. Augustine.
Living inside
the monastery. Some of them live also at the Hermitage.
Okay.
Where where the bishop lived.
Father George dropped me home once or twice. Father Elias taught me how to raise goat. he had his own goats, and we go and feed the goats. Yeah.
Now, other important element after those lovely, loving pastor who served the church, among them there were also the Scarborough Fathers who arrived in 1954, who served the parish as well. And the superior for the region at that time was Bishop Kenneth Turner. Probably the name may rings a bell to you. He was the superior of the region of the Scarborough priests. Among them, we have the famous Father McKernan, who was his associate, and also at some point. But Father Lawrence Beale, Beale was also the associate of Bishop Kenneth Turner, and they serve the parish as well. We have a lovely.
You have a long history.
Of course, long history. And then they arrived in 1954, and they served the Scarborough priests. They are priests who have the missionary spirit. They are sent around the world to build communities, right? And so we were fortunate to have them. They built some of our parishes, namely St. Thomas More, and they were sent also after that to Grand Bahama to establish the church there, and so.
So now it's 75 years later.
It's 75
and
years
the
later.
church has decided to celebrate. I want to know what all your church, St. Thomas More, is doing to celebrate. When does the celebration start? I want to know the daily calendar, and how can the Catholic community and the wider Christian community can come and celebrate with you in terms of recognizing the accomplishments of St. Thomas More, recognizing the accomplishments of the church in general.
Yes. The calendar, we will kick off as usual. Everything we do, we start with the Mass. The Mass is the center, the Eucharistic celebration. So we will have the Mass, will be presided over by our Archbishop, Patrick Sipender.
Nice.
On Sunday, June 29th.
Sunday, June 29th.
At 10 a.m.
It's going to be at your home church?
At our home church.
Okay.
It will be so special. We are blessed to have him, because he is now of us, the one who, under him, who have the vision, who carried the project for the new St. Thomas More complex. We are very pleased. We are very blessed with that.
Good. So I'm anticipating a big service, the big Eucharist
is.
at June. We'll give me the date again.
June 29th.
June 29th.
So this will be like a coming home of all the different Catholics coming to your church to give tribute. How that's going to be?
We invite everyone. We're gonna say come back home.
Come back home.
Come back home. And so we invite everyone and anyone who wish to be a part of the celebration to come to St. Thomas More Church on the 29th of June. That will be the way we launch our 75th anniversary. And then after that Mass, we have a luncheon at the Hilton at 1 o'clock that same day.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And so you can come and worship, and then after worship, if you want to go home and change your fancy gown and put on, something else, you can come and you can dine with us. Just have a nice lunch with us on the 29th again, and that's at the Hilton. And so we're looking for the support of Catholics, non-Catholics, and all who want to be a part of the St. Thomas More 75th celebration.
Ms. Rolla, have a caller who wants to engage you.
Sure.
So we'll invite producer prep that caller. We'll invite this caller to join the conversation. Go ahead, caller. Guardian Radio, we're talking to representative of St. Thomas More Church, which is in the Valley on Madeira Street, and they're celebrating 75 years. And they say talk about the big mass. I want to know. I'm gonna ask Father Calix whether it's going to be pumping pageantry, the marching. But I'm going to ask him about that next. But go ahead, caller.
A pleasant good morning, Mr. Newry. Mr. Newry, do you realize that one day Madeira Street was referred to as the Southern Bay Street? There were two main streets in New Providence at that time. You either went down Bay Street to shop or you came in Madeira Street. I grew up, Mr. Newry. I grew up 3 houses just east of Harding's Locksmith on Madeira Street. It's called Javan Plaza right now. St. Thomas More was the first school also that I ever voted in. The main churches in the valley were St. Thomas More, St. George's, Rose Memorial Church, and Annex Baptist Church on Wolf Road. That area was called the Valley. If you lived in the Valley, you went to one of those churches. You also had, before the shopping plaza was there, which is referred to as the Madeira Shopping Plaza, you had Garfunkel softball field where they played softball at night with lights and bleachers. Then you had Aquinas School with a playground and a basketball court, and then you had the Mega Beat Garfunkel Auditorium.
I'm impressed with your memory, man, and I'm grateful that you mentioned that St. Thomas More has loaned its property for the general elections and very civil-minded, and I appreciate that too. That's a great knowledge. You started mentioning the Great Mass. I mentioned earlier whether the Mass is going to be with any pomp and pageantry in terms of coming home. I'm not familiar. But if Father Collects could give me like a rundown on what I can expect when I attend this Mass.
Well, it will be a solemn mass in our own tradition. When he says solemn mass, it will be on a Sunday. Well, Sunday for us is the day of the resurrection. It will be already solemn, and especially link it to our 75th anniversary. That will be a solemn mass presided over. Once the Archbishop is there, it's gonna be solemn and with traditional hymns, and we won't have a marching band from outside coming in, but I believe we have good music, good hymns that people know, and they can sing traditional hymns.
Nice, good. And then after the luncheon.
And then after that, the luncheon.
Any tickets for that, or
We have tickets available for the luncheon. It's $100, and it's available either from the parish office or one of the committee members or parishioners.
okay?
Now,
Go ahead.
if you allow me, I talk about the missionary priests, but after they left their footprint there, the Bahamian priests, they take over. They come, yes, they serve the parish too. Among them, we have when at the time when Father McKernan left, and he went to Grand Bahama, left, and Father McKinnon, another priest, McKinnon, succeeded him, and in 1974. So after that, he had as his associate, Father McKinnon, has as his Father Alfred Colmer, who is Monsignor Colmer. And he served as associate in 1989 and to 1979 to 1980. I mean, after that, he was moved to other parishes in the New Providence to serve the other parishes in the New Providence. And after that, in 1987, Monsignor Sim, Father Sim, Simeon, who is now Monsignor Sim, served also at the parish for 10 years, from 1987 to 1997.
So
1987, 1997.
So St. Thomas More has some good shepherds.
Awesome good shepherd. And then after him, Father Glenn Nixon, who is now the rector of the cathedral, served the parish from 1997 to 2006. That's a number of years. And then after that, after him, came Monsignor Colmer now as pastor of the parish from 2006 to 2010. And after that, he left to go to St. Joseph, where he is now. So in 2010, now Father Russell, Anselm Russell, came also as a Bahamian Benedictine monk, and as a pastor of St. Thomas More as well. He stayed there only for 1 year, less than 1 year, and then he was succeeded by Father Clark in 2011, and Father Clark stayed until 2015. And Father Russell came back as an administrator, and I was under him as his associate.
Like pastor.
Yes, as his associate pastor.
And then what happened? Then.
And here we
then
are.
Here we are. I was with the pastor in 2022.
Amen. Amen.
You get a little bit of history.
I appreciate it.
You appreciate it, right? Okay.
Also, as we celebrate St. Thomas More, you have a T-shirt day.
We have a T-shirt day, and we have a big bazaar. St. Thomas More used to be known for its really grand bazaars. And so we have a bazaar in October, and that is when we hope to launch our T-shirt day. And so we're looking forward to persons who would like to have a T-shirt with the 75th anniversary logo. To certainly,
How much for the T-shirt?
The T-shirts are $35, a mere $35, and these are dry fit shirts.
High-end shirts.
Yeah, high-end. We gone whole. Yeah.
So, and I can purchase that at the church too.
You can
at the church office.
You certainly can.
Okay.
And then we also have another one of our activities we have later in the year.
Well, no, you can't go to the other activities, and you mentioned the bazaar.
The bazaar, we have the bazaar, of course.
Yes, you talk about the T-shirt, and see, Erin already popped up because she likes food.
How could you talk about the St. Thomas More Bazaar and you don't mention hoopla, you don't mention bookstall,
just move right
you don't
across it.
mention White Elephant,
Aaron knows all of it.
you don't mention the fritters, you ain't mention the hot dog and hamburger stall.
So when is the bazaar?
The bazaar,
October, the last Saturday in October. Is always on the last Saturday in October.
You ain't mentioned the tarts from the sisters on Nassau Street. The grill, and then I see there's a strong, you can't call it rivalry. Well, at least you can't call it competition, but you could call it rivalry between the Anglican fairs and the Catholic fairs. The Anglican people say they have supper club where you could get your peas and your grits and your old school Bahamian dinners. And then they have now, I don't know about this one, but they have a Scotch tent. Y'all gonna have a Scotch tent at the bazaar?
I don't know about that.
See, because y'all don't have hoopla for old people, but maybe you have a.
No, we have hoopla now for old people. We have kiddies hoopla, and we have the more senior people hoopla as well.
What can we expect at the bazaar?
At the bazaar,
give us a rundown.
Well, at the bazaar, we have the usual. We have all of the food. We have some wonderful conch fritters, of course, and we normally have 2 stations, so you have to stay in line, but not that long. And so we also have the suppers or the lunch, the usual peas and rice and all of our Bahamian goodies. We also have a Filipino food station, stall.
Because Philippine community are Catholic traditionally.
Absolutely.
And look here, our cousins, Philippines, when they say they come to be part of the community, they mean they come to be part of community.
Right.
So they run in the grill as well.
So they
I
will
get my
have their
finger
little
foods,
fill-
my little
yes,
egg rolls, and my
absolutely.
peanut satay chicken and things like that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And then we also have, pardon me?
Plants.
The plants. Well, this year we're going to have a plant boutique,
I love
not just a
plants.
stall, a
like that.
boutique.
Boutique then.
Yes.
A boutique, the plants come with fruit on them and flowers on them.
That's good. That's good.
Okay. Traditional bookstall.
The bookstall, of course, and then
So I want to know, I got some things, some used things, gently used, not old. Are you having a white elephant? I could come and make some donations to support the event.
I don't know what you meant by white elephant. I was going to let it slide, but now you're explaining it. But go ahead. Sorry.
okay. Now I'm not sure about that, about the white elephant, but I'm sure Father and his team will put that together.
Okay, okay.
But we have a wonderful pastry, so all the old time coconut tart and guava duff and all those goodies.
The coconut
those
cake and the
coconut
peanut cake and the cassava bread with the little spice in it.
all
and
the
the potato
Bahamian
bread.
goodies, as well as the modern day goodies, the contemporary goodies. You can have at that stall as well.
Are the young Catholics bringing any booths, anything new and innovative to the bazaar this year?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's not new, but something that we have, like, you have a corner, a kiddie corner.
Okay.
For the kids, and we have that. It's called, like, we have a
Bouncing castle,
bouncing
face
castle,
painting.
face painting.
You're gonna have the jumbo games. They have these. They have these.
It just sounds fun.
like it's Connect Four, but it's huge.
I know those. Yeah, I know those.
I'm always concerned about seniors and the heat and sitting down and making sure my seniors comfortable.
The seniors are always comfortable. We have a little area where they can sit, but the seniors love bingo.
Oh, we have the.
You have
And
bingo?
so the bingo is
Catholics have some good prizes.
yes,
Right?
and
They're coming.
so the bingo is always one of the major attractions,
Oh, yeah.
especially for the senior people.
Okay.
And we have to make sure that there's enough space there for them to have their food while they play in the bingo as well.
Nice.
Okay,
Yes.
amenities right there as well.
This is why I want to ask Father Calix. I love history. And you went into detail about the history of St. Thomas More and the various rectors who were there. Just giving suggestions. I would like to have a place where I can actually look and view all of the rectors throughout the ages and read up like a little bio. Say, giving ideas. Read a little bio so I can say, I remember him, or I didn't know that happened.
Beautiful,
At St.
beautiful.
Thomas More.
Thank you for the idea. I think we are preparing for the occasion a booklet.
Oh, nice.
In that booklet, we have photograph of the former pastors
Nice.
of St. Thomas More.
Nice.
You will be able to see all of them in that
Nice.
in that booklet. But it's a good thing we can also provide. Thank you for idea, a gallery of those pictures
display
and
available
display
that
them
people-
available.
We
yeah.
also have in that souvenir booklet, we have a history of the church and a history of the school. And like Father said, photographs of all of the former pastors and assistants who served, along with the deacons who served. And we have pictures from long ago of the first wedding that happened.
Oh, nice.
And
Okay.
the baptisms that happened before I was born in the 50s. No, I was born in the 50s, but this was prior to 1958.
And you have pictures of the old church?
We have pictures of the old church. So we have the 1950 church, we have the 1952 church, and we have the 2020 church.
Okay.
Yes. And so we have it will be a good memoir for anyone who wants to know the history of St. Thomas
Memorial.
More.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we
And
have
next
that.
question. I know that St. Thomas More moved formally to the new building across the street. Whatever happened to the old building? What you use that for?
Well, the whole building was turned over to the school.
Okay.
You see, what goes around comes around. Anyway, stay for the for the school now. We turn it over to them. They use it as a classroom and then for teaching and so forth.
So it's combined school and church.
Yes.
Right. So and it's in October, right? The bazaar.
The
bazaar.
bazaar is October.
Dear young Catholics, y'all wow St. Thomas More family with some of the ideas y'all have out there. Because I think in young people in merchandising, right? Like I think in that little keychain that says family of St. Thomas More, right? That young person wears on their bag. Every once in a while, they touch that and they remember, man, I walk in with Christ. I don't see nothing else but this journey, right? Like merchandise, T-shirts, keychains, little small things that young people sort of use regularly and becomes a not even a memento, but a part of their ritual of faith, you know? And I think young people, once they see that there are ways that they could support the church and still be contemporary, you know, but positive messages on the T-shirts.
I see, Ms. Roll, that even though you start off in June, the celebration of the 75th anniversary, this is like a year-long
It's a year-long.
celebration. It goes all the way to 2026.
All the way to 2026.
Okay, so this year, we have the Mass,
The Mass
then you have the T-shirt day and the bazaar,
and the luncheon and the
and the
bazaar.
luncheon and the
Yeah.
bazaar. And there next year, or you have some things in December?
We have something also called Fun Walk.
Oh, okay.
We're going to have for the parish.
Is that this year?
No, that's in,
No,
that's
that
in
will
February
be in
of
February
next year.
next
Okay.
year.
Yeah.
So, give me a list of what all happening this year. Then let's move to February. of
Okay,
next
this year we have the Mass, of course, the luncheon, and the bazaar.
Mm-hmm.
Then next year, then we have the
I mean, we may have a bingo before that. Bingo too before that.
Okay.
It's a traditional bingo.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. So now we in the year 2026.
2026.
What's happening in 2026? What's St. Thomas More doing in 2026?
2026, the big event in 2026 would be the Fun Run Walk and Health Fair. That's in February. And then we will have a kind of a games day for the parishioners as well later on. We plan to do that either in May or June for the parishioners and anyone else who want to participate.
Well, people like me who like walk, I definitely am making an effort. But what to anticipate? Are you going to have a T-shirt for the fun walk? Any sauce? You know, I like sauce at my fun walk. Fun walk. I like to eat food afterwards. You know, I see you have a health screening, so you have all that organized. You can do blood pressure and stuff like that.
Yes. We have the health screening. We will have some of the booths there where we can look at different supplements. We also will have, of course, the T-shirt, the usual stuff that we do for the Fun Run Walk. And absolutely, you can't have a Fun Run Walk and end without some type of sauce, you know, whether it's the chicken sauce, the pig feet sauce,
Rib sauce.
rib sauce.
Don't forget my vegetarian friends, carrot sauce.
Look where she going.
Okay, carrot
Be
sauce.
playing with us
okay.
veggies.
I don't know about the carrot sauce.
This
but-
is mine.
I would also ask, I know St. Thomas More, the church, is celebrating 75 years, but are you including the school in the celebration?
Well, the school is absolutely. The school will be very intricately involved in the celebrations, and the school always supports the church. And so any activity that the school will have, and schools have numerous activities during the course of the year. The school always participates in the bazaar. They're also very involved in any type of fundraising or any type of fun activity that we have. And so their theme, too, for the 75th anniversary will be in tandem with the 75th anniversary for the church.
Yeah. We are fortunate also, if you allow me, that our anniversary, 75th anniversary, coincides with the International Jubilee Year of Hope, launched by late Holy Father Pope Francis in December 2024. So that also is part of us as
And
well.
I don't want to piggyback on that because I appreciate you mentioned that. As a Catholic community, as a priest, as a pastor, the transition of the Pope, and how did St. Thomas More dealt with that in terms of a church, how they celebrate the Holy Father? Any kind of summary on that?
Well, we go along with the Universal Church as a parish church and as a diocese, archdiocese, and the Archbishop has a guideline and everything for that, for how we celebrate together this the new the gift of the new Pope. Well, it has been only 1 month since Pope Francis, our beloved Pope Francis, passed away. And we have been, in that period when he passed, we have been mourning. And also after that, within a week or 2 weeks later, we rejoice also with the election of the new Pope, Pope Leo the 14th. And which is really is a blessing for us. And then that shows us right after the death of our beloved Pope Francis, we have the election. We see that the church is God's agenda. So therefore, he has the church in his control, under his control. So we are happy. We celebrated it. At every mass we celebrate. There were some masses actually dedicated for the death of the Pope, the beloved Pope Francis, in memory of him, following his death. And of course, there were also masses celebrated for the new Pope that, we celebrate Mass to rejoice in the Lord for the new shepherd he has given to his church. So all along, we have been in that, and we have been meditating, we have been praying. There were the cardinal were in conclave, but also we, the faithful outside, we were praying too. Because it's the work of the Holy Spirit, it's the work of God.
Amen. So in terms of promoting, for lack of a better word, St. Thomas More Day, St. Thomas More Month, St. Thomas More anniversary, 75 years. How are we promoting and moving about that? Because I know you are a member of the committee, Miss Rule, and I know the committee is active in planning and organizing and fine-tuning all of the events. But how are you marketing, letting the faithful know that we celebrate?
Well, thanks for having us, because this is our launch of our marketing, where we are able to actually speak to the public about St. Thomas More's 75th anniversary. And so we, in addition to appearing on various talk shows in the media houses, we have flyers, we have a banner, and we're just talking to people. Like we find that the best way to get information out is to actually talk to persons. And so we have, we're also having some advertisements done. And so we're really trying to cover everything.
But listen, y'all already have an existing network, right? You have the Alumni Association for St. Thomas More. You have the church itself, and then you have the auxiliary, the family members, right? So you have SAC School, Aquinas School, then you have Our Ladies and all the other Catholic churches. Word of mouth.
Absolutely.
Right? And let them know, if St. Thomas More touched you, it's time to turn around and come back.
It's like a great return.
Yes.
It's like a great return of all those. Because I know the Catholic community tends to move to different churches as they get older, right?
Yes.
So it could be a coming home.
And that's what we say, come back home, you know. But we I must say, we have the support of the schools. We St. Augustine's is celebrating a big day tomorrow.
Yes.
But even they are supporting us, and so we have the support of St. Augustine's, Aquinas, St. Cecilia.
I'm glad you called St. Augustine, because imagine if SAC Alumni Association organized like a dunk tank for the bazaar, because that draws people in. They like to see that.
And they
I don't know
use.
if I want to see the priest get dunked with water.
I didn't say you were preaching.
I like her father collects.
Oh no, I wasn't suggesting that.
And we must commend both St. Augustine's and Aquinas. Their students always assist us. Always assist us. We can always, even without asking, count on the support of the communities from both Aquinas College as well as St. Augustine's.
You know what I also want to know? What is the official name of St. Thomas More Church? Some churches have like a shorter name, and it's got St. Thomas More Church. What is the official name of the church?
Well, the official name of the church is St. Thomas More Church, or St. Thomas More Parish, right? But if you want the abbreviation of the name, is STM.
Okay.
STM means it stands for St. Thomas More.
You know about that because you know STA for St. Anne's. You see that emblem plenty.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
official name, St. Thomas More Church or St. Thomas More Parish.
Okay.
Wait till I open my church, Mr. Newry.
You can open a church?
Yeah, but they have 18 names.
Uh-oh.
That sounds like a complex church.
The most right, you have to start with the most venerable,
Yeah. Go ahead.
holy temple
Uh-huh.
of the Messiahs
Uh-huh.
of Christ. You gotta have about 18 names. That way they don't never quite sure who they talking to. You wait about St. Thomas More.
But also, we pay honor because, as we celebrate our 75th anniversary, we also pay honor to our patron saint,
St. Thomas.
who is St. Thomas
I
More.
want to talk about that when we come back on this break, right? We're talking to members of St. Thomas More Church who's celebrating 75 years. We have the parish pastor who's here, and also a long-time member and a member of the board that is organizing the committee. Yes, Miss Roll, right? We're going to be right back.
Girl, Junior just showed me Bella Boy in his phone.
What you mean? He take picture of that good for nothing boy?
Shh, you don't want Bella here. You say that. You know she always say that's my good child.
So what he doing in Junior phone?
Oh, he there because the police looking for him. He on their wanted list.
Wanted persons in your phone now?
Yes, child. And when police want to find anybody quick, after something happen, they can send pictures direct to your phone. Go to Google Play or App Store and search for Crack Crime Bahamas. Then pick install and it will go straight to your phone.
There is also a section on missing persons.
Yes, girl. Everybody needs to get this app so police can tell us right away when these people go missing. Just like an alert system.
Yes, it has numbers for Crime Stoppers Bahamas, so you can call and nobody knows it's you. Call directly to Miami and give the information without giving your name or anything about you. I tried the other day, and when I hear Junior and his boys talking about where they hide those guns, I walk quick round the corner and call that number.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
Did you know you could send a local bank transfer to a Sand Dollar wallet? It's the same as sending a transfer to an account at another local bank. Simply use the wallet's 12-digit top-up address as the account number, savings is the account type, Central Bank of the Bahamas is the bank, and Sand Dollar is the branch with branch code or transit number 12,000. Don't use urgent or priority delivery. Transfers to Sand Dollar wallets are processed through the Bahamas Automated Clearinghouse Network within 1 business day.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
And welcome back to Guardian Radio AM. Of course, we have members of St. Thomas More Church in-house. I want to extend happy birthday to my nephew. His birthday today, actually. Cohen. I can imagine mispronouncing Cohen's name. Cohen Ingram. Yeah. He's celebrating his birthday today. So I'm very excited about that.
Cake?
Well, I'm hoping that they have cake.
Good stuff.
Yeah. We have some announcements to read before we continue our conversation with the St. Thomas More committee group.
All right. I'm reading an ad here. The John McEnroe Tennis Center at Bahama invites you to participate in their complimentary junior kids clinic and exhibition Saturday, May 31st at 9 a.m. The John McEnroe Tennis Center of Bahama is proud to partner with the Bahama Foundation for a fun-filled morning of clinics and an exhibition match between World Junior Championship finalists Denali Nottage and multiple junior national champion Michael Major, both of whom have represented the Bahamas in the Davis Cup. The specialty clinics start at 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. and the exhibition match will start at 10 a.m. It's complimentary junior kids clinic and exhibition. That's at Bahama. Limited availability. To reserve your spot, email tennis at bahama.com. That's TENNIS at BAHAMAR.com. Tennis at bahama.com.
Thank you very much. And also I want to read this. The Guardian Media Group and Going Places Travel wants to take you on a 7-day cruise for 4 to Panama, Colombia, and Curacao, and Aruba on the Royal Caribbean's Serenade of the Seas. And here's the best part: no visas required. That's right, no visas required. You have 4 ways to enter, 4 ways to win. Of course, you got to fill out the form in the Nassau Guardian or listen to Star 106.5 or the Nassau Guardian Radio 96.9. Of course, follow us on Facebook and Instagram or make a purchase at Going Places Travel. Of course, the entry deadline is on June 27th, 2025, and the drawing is going to be on July 4th, 2025. And of course, pack up your bags, get ready to soak up some sun and feel the ocean breeze. You and 3 loved ones will be sailing the high seas of vacation. Cruise of lifetime brought to you by the Guardian Media Group, and of course, Going Places Travel. And certain conditions apply. Airfare, taxes, and gratuities are not included. We're speaking to Miss Claudette Rowe.
Claudette Rowe, yes.
And Father Collects, right? All my life I've been pronouncing it Colexi. I have one of my cousins whose maiden name is Colexi or Collex, and all my life I've been calling Miss Colexi. So I'm glad you corrected me. So when I see her again, hello, Miss Collex. Oh, how you learned that? So before we left to go on break, you mentioned the patron saint of St. Thomas More. I never considered that. Right? St. Thomas was St. Thomas or St. Thomas was St. Thomas More? Well, how did you get the name? Or who is the church named after?
Well, the church is named after a great saint, St. Thomas More.
Is it one of the disciples, St. Thomas, no?
No.
Okay, go
St.
ahead.
Thomas More was born in England. His father was John More. Mm-hmm. His father was also a lawyer. Mm-hmm. He also followed his father's footsteps. He became a lawyer, mm-hmm. and one that was great. I mean, he became the Lord Chancellor.
Oh, nice.
The highest position. And, he was a very loyal man in every sense of the word. And that's why, during the controversies between King Henry VIII. Okay. Now, we are now in 15th, 16th century, okay. Because St. Thomas More was born in 1478. Mm-hmm. And he died in 1535. Mm-hmm. So he was made the Lord Chancellor, and during the controversies between King Henry VIII mm-hmm. and the church, because what he wanted to have an annulment mm-hmm. and to remarry Anne. And left Catherine to marry Anne. So therefore, St. Thomas More was requested to request that letter from Rome, to address that letter to Rome, to the Pope, but he refused to do so because at that time we didn't have that in process. So King Henry VIII decided then to take on.
I have my own church. I have my own church.
St. Thomas More was called by Henry VIII to make the oath, but he refused to do it.
Okay.
Oath of supremacy. So he refused to do it. Therefore, like you said, Henry went ahead and do it because St. Thomas said, well, I'm not going to sign mm-hmm. for these especially for Henry VIII to be the head mm-hmm. of the Catholic Church in England. Mm. So this is how we have the shift now between the Catholic Church, and this is how the shift started between the Catholic Church and the Anglican Church. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So therefore, St. Thomas More, the consequence of that, he was beheaded.
They beheaded him.
Behead him. Mm. But what is about St. Thomas More is a very strong saint, and we had a bold faith, mm-hmm. a bold faith, and this is how he died. He died with this a powerful statement: "I died a king's faithful servant, but God's first."
That's deep.
And I'll tell you, I'll read it because I don't have it in mind, but I'll read what he said to his daughter mm-hmm. while he was in the scaffold now to be beheaded, right? He said, shortly before his martyrdom, he consoled his daughter, saying, "Nothing can come but that God wills." And I make me very sure that whatsoever that be, seem it never so bad inside, it shall indeed be the best.
Shall indeed be the best.
Be the best.
And then your church is named after in honor of that.
For his honesty, his really adherence to the Catholic teacher, to the Catholic teaching, to our magisterium was fabulous.
Excellent. So now we celebrate. Now we celebrate 75 years of St. Thomas More Church in the valley, being in the existence and adding to the Bahamian experience, adding to the development of the Bahamas.
One thing I want to add something else, because we love St. Thomas More.
Of course.
And it's a powerful saint. And he is a patron saint of statesmen,
Lawyers and politicians.
and politicians, civilians, or also for those who have marriage difficulties.
Okay.
Yeah, marriage difficulties. Yeah,
intermarriage.
Divorce because of
King Henry, right?
King Henry.
Oh, okay, makes sense.
Right, because he refused to
To sign.
he refused to go with the play.
If they play, yeah.
Divorce is not an option.
He's like, but look here, I need to do something with this woman. And Moore's like, sir,
Yeah, that's your good wife.
you must turn to faith.
Work it out. Go pray.
This boy's like, I ain't on that run. Moore say, hold firm, sir.
And I'll encourage you, all the young people, also to watch, if they have not watched that movie, A Man for All Seasons.
Man for All Seasons.
That's the one with Alan Alda.
You watch all kind of movies.
I didn't watch it. I was too young when it came out. I to be honest.
A Man for Us is a beautiful movie. I mean, that is a synopsis of the life of St. Thomas More during the controversy between him and King Henry VIII and him.
Make that a part of the celebration. Too. You got to watch the movie, come and all that.
And that is something we do constant. Father is always having every year, particularly around the feast of St. Thomas More, which is June 22nd.
Appreciate the good man.
He invites the congregants to come to the parish hall so we can all watch A Man for All Seasons
You want some popcorn? Because I'm looking
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, good. That sounds like a plan.
Since you want to watch a movie, right? It would be wonderful to engage the political class in a way, right? Understanding that More is their patron saint.
Loyalty of it.
And to inculcate, right? To entrench some of that culture within the political class and the political culture. Like, how do we support politics? Because that's what it's about, right? It's about supporting politicians. Could the church play a real role and not a rhetorical role in that space?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Miss Rule, let's do a rundown as we leave.
Okay.
Something starting in June. What's happening in
June
June?
29th,
June 29th.
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
Mass. 1 p.m., not a.m., 1 p.m., luncheon.
Luncheon. Where the luncheon can be?
At the Hilton.
At the Hilton.
Tickets, $100. You can get it at the parish office. We have October.
We're in October now.
Yeah, we're now in October. And so we have the bazaar.
The bazaar.
The Great Bazaar.
What time the bazaar
The
start?
bazaar normally starts at 2 p.m.
2 p.m.?
Father likes it to start earlier. He likes it
12,
to start at
12
12.
noon.
We can say 12 noon.
He likes it to start at 12.
Yes.
But things really don't start kicking until 2.
Well, come 12.
But come
If
12.
you want the fritters, if you want the hoopla, if you want to sneak a bouncing castle before the little children them come and fill it up, come 12.
Yes.
Okay, the bazaar.
And then we have the bingo, of course.
You know you missed the t-shirts, right?
Oh, well, the bazaar and the t-shirts will go
you
together.
forget to
Oh,
put t-shirts?
how did? That's why I have you. Yeah, that's
there you
why.
go.
Yeah, that's
Right.
why you the
What-
chief
what
and I'm
happened- what happened
the
to the
Indian.
t-shirts?
Pardon me?
What happened to the t-shirts?
Okay, the t-shirts. We will start with the t-shirts. Wearing the t-shirts at the bazaar. We want to have an event prior to the bazaar just to kind of have like a
Introduce it?
t-shirt day.
Okay.
And so we have the t-shirts, we have the bazaar where we're encouraging everyone to wear. And like we say, this is no ordinary t-shirt. This is
Where the bazaar is going to be taking
the
place
bazaar
exactly?
is on the school's campus,
school's campus.
as we've been for the last 50 years. And so the bazaar would be there. We have the bingo, and the bingo is normally on the narthex of the new church complex, which is on the gathering space, the porch. And we have a lovely garden in that new complex, by the way. You must come and see it at some point. And then we have after the bazaar, we have a bingo, like I said. And then we go into 2026.
In 2026.
2026, we have the Fun Run Walk and Health Fair, where you can get your souse. And then after that, we have a fun day for the parishioners, and that will...
On the same day as the walkathon?
No. This will be to end the
celebration.
We have a fun day.
Besides that, we doing that here. I mean, 2026. We're gonna have also. We call it Easter Garden Tea.
Eastern Garden Tea.
The tea event on the parish, on the porch,
High
on
tea?
the narthex.
High tea where I get food and drink?
Yeah, the high tea where you get all the teas that you could ever imagine.
You don't call it no food though. I want cake.
And you
tea.
have...
You have that.
There you go, Father.
You have that too. You have that too.
Yes.
The tea can't come without
There you go. I can drink tea.
exquisite
But you have that
pastries.
too.
I need to have pastry to go with my
Oh
tea.
yeah, pastries.
There you go.
Definitely.
And if you have Johnny cake and some cheese, I'll appreciate that too. I just putting my order in beforehand that I like Johnny cake and I like cheese and any kind of raisin bread. I'm willing to eat at the high tea.
Sandwiches.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can eat sandwich. I can eat a tuna sandwich. You have a price for that yet, or that's something in the works we're working on?
That is something in the works.
Yes.
Yes,
That's
but
something in
we
the works.
normally that's an annual event.
That's
for
an
us.
annual event, but it will take place, around the 75th anniversary
Nice.
as well.
And where that normally held?
In the new church complex on the narthex, what we
Okay.
call the narthex, which is the porch of the church, like I said, and it overlooks the garden, the gardens, and so it's a beautiful setting.
This is the second time we talk about this garden.
Because we want everyone to come and see it.
Now I got to
It's
stop to look
beautiful.
at the garden.
Yes.
Can I go and take pictures of the garden too?
Absolutely.
Okay, I don't want no one stopping me and say I come in to take pictures.
No.
at
We
St. Thomas More.
invite you to come.
No, that's good. But beside that, we talk about the garden, which is beautiful. But I want to say, also, we have the glass windows inside the church. They are modern, and also they are made by a local artist,
Really? You didn't import the glasses?
Antonio Roberts.
Okay, no, Antonio Roberts. Okay,
They are beautiful. One of them depicts the seventh day of creation.
Okay. So that's something to come now by and just look.
Yes,
Okay.
and we have a glass window also where we have St. Thomas More facing north, where we have St. Thomas More along with John Fisher, another St. John Fisher, who that also martyr, who was contemporaries of St. Thomas More as well,
Okay.
for the same cause.
But thank you very much for stopping by and informing us about your big celebration, 75 whole years of being in existence in Thomas More Church, being in the valley, contributing to the greater development of the Bahamas. Right? Aaron, you have anything to say before I leave?
I just want Father Calix to know he has to come back and tell us what happened on the 8th day of creation.
It was the 8th day of creation.
After God rested.
Look at this.
Yes, sir.
I'll give the answer.
Go ahead.
The 8th day of creation now is what we have. What do we call that? We have the 8th day of creation. Let me not forget. So the 8th day of creation is, we'll go back to that.
That's why you have to come back.
We can bring him right
Yes,
back.
I have the answer for you.
This is Guardian Radio AM with CA Newry. Thank you very much, Aaron Grain, for saying right back with me. Thank you very much, Father Calix. Thank you very much, Miss Rowell. Have a wonderful day.
Thank
too,
you.
thanks.
Thank you for having us.